So, what to do with a PR piece or magazine article or an online article that someone's written about you or your company? And how do you use that to maximize the mileage you're getting out of this piece that someone else created for you across all of your web presence, your social media, and your website? That's what we're going to cover today in this video about how to make the most of periodicals and PR pieces. The first thing you want to do is capture this in the form of a blog post. You're going to want to summarize in a paragraph what the article's about, who wrote it, and why it was written about you, and some of the top features about yourself. Then cite the actual periodical, put a quote in there, italicize it, and then put a link to the original article. Then below that, actually cite the article and tell people to visit it and read it. This gives you great link juice back to your website. Finally, schedule this out so that it goes to anyone who might be reading your blog. This is what we call exposure number one. The second thing you want to do is an email blast. Now, I'm going to show you here a living example that I received just today in my email inbox from a local by the name of Franklin Cruz. The local newspaper did a feature about a building project he was working on. He's kept his head down. He's now a building developer and creating new housing solutions for our city. The local newspaper actually did an article about him and how did he maximize this PR piece. He put it into an email campaign such as MailChimp or Constant Contact, put a screenshot of the article from the actual newspaper as well as the online screenshot of the article on their website. In that email campaign, you're going to want to go ahead and link to the original article as well, say something kind or endearing, thank them for featuring you, say something inspiring, and a call to action. If you want to learn more, click here. So the second exposure is an email campaign that goes out to your email list, which is another good reason to make sure that you're always building an email list. The third way that you want to make sure you're making the most of this PR campaign is posting it on your Google business listing. Now, how you're going to do that is this. The screenshot you've already grabbed for your blog post should be saved to your computer somewhere. Simply go into your Google post and click Update and add an update. Upload the image, take the first paragraph or two from your blog post and paste it into the Google business post under your Google business listing. And then select the option to add a button that just says Learn More. And in the Learn More field, paste the link to your blog post. That way, anyone who possibly stumbles across this in your Google business listing will then click Learn More and refer back to your website, which website traffic is the ultimate goal anyway. But if you share just a little snippet from the original blog post and then they get a little sneak peek and then it takes them back to your website and you've got the image right there. That is the third exposure you're going to get from your PR listing. Now, the fourth exposure is you're going to want to get this on your Instagram, and there's several key reasons on why you want to do this. But number one, as a story, you've got the screenshot shared. If you've done this on your computer, you probably want to visit that same article on your cell phone, take a screenshot, download it to your cell phone, browse to your Instagram, create a new story, and then upload the screenshot of the article on your Instagram story. Now, what you want to do is you want to say something kind or gratitude-driven about the organization that wrote about you or had a PR piece. Then you want to add a sticker. You click the little icon for stickers, and under there you can add a link. I present for your consideration to add a link to your own blog post about it. But here's the benefit that you want with posting on Instagram. Make sure you tag the institution. Use the @sign, and if it's your local newspaper, @sign your newspaper. Make sure you tag any author. If there's an author of that particular article, make sure you friend them in Instagram, but tag them as well because they're going to reshare it. And then finally, tag anyone mentioned or any vendor that's helped you out with your project that they're talking about in the article, because all of them want their own PR exposure. So if you've tagged them in this story and then publish it, all of those people will be notified and they will have an opportunity to share it to their own following. It multiplies the exposure of this wonderful article because you've shared it and you've tagged people you know in it. It also taps social proof, which shows that there are institutions outside of yourself that are saying good things about you. Now, another added benefit of posting this to Instagram is as you publish it, you can, of course, also share to your Facebook stories. So that is actually your fourth and fifth exposure with Instagram. Now, what I also recommend you do in Instagram is now do this in the form of a post. You have the same image, create a post now, and in that post, write a little bit more about what's going on. You could consider taking the first paragraph from your blog that's on your website and pasting it into the post itself so that there's a little meat on it. And then you could link to your blog post again and do the same thing. Tag anyone you can who's related to it, just like you did in the story. So your story only lasts about 24 hours in your story feed, but this post will last in your Instagram grid for some time. So go ahead and share that there. That would be your 6th exposure. Your 7th exposure will actually be back on Facebook as well, where you duplicate what you did in the Instagram post, but do it on your Facebook business page if it's referring to your business, or if it's your own profile, sharing it to your own profile. But just like you tagged anyone that's relevant in Instagram, please do the same thing in Facebook. Take your time. Friend the institution that wrote about you, friend any vendors that you have worked with for your project, or anyone that might have been mentioned in the article, including the author, and tag all of them and thank them and try to gain some engagement. Now, lastly, you're going to do this same exact thing in LinkedIn, but I present for your consideration taking the full body of your blog, which is on your website, and pasting it into a long form post in LinkedIn. Take the time to tag any vendor or anyone that's been involved with the institution in that long form LinkedIn post, and then use the photo you've been using the entire time. Grant is this duplicate effort. It's a little bit of duplicate effort, but most of the people that are visiting you on LinkedIn are not visiting your blog. They're not visiting on Facebook. Most people tend to stick to the social media platforms and the media platforms they're used to. But this approach has given you 7 or 8 media exposures from that one article that came out about some of the great work you're doing, but you've maximized it 7 times. And this isn't just 7 accretive times or incremental pieces of growth. Remember Metcalfe's law. Metcalfe's law talks about the network effects of every network that actually saw this post. Every single post, it's a multiplier of how many people actually saw this post. So if you posted it in 7 different locations, that actually is an exponent, not an increment. So I encourage you to take these 7 steps. Make sure you share this post, make sure you tag anyone you can, and that's how you make the most of a press release or a PR piece that someone else writes about you.